Hello YouTube. I know it's taken me a long time to get around to playing the new zones, but I think it'll be worth the wait. I've been developing an extra special machine, which I'll reveal later in the video. But first, I'll showcase the new zones, starting with Relict Frost. The main challenge in getting the cube to the goal is that it makes your machine weightless when you get near it. The cube also used to freeze your machine, but the Overview Keymapper update last week got rid of that challenge. I guess the developers decided that adding 2 new gameplay mechanics in one zone was too sudden. While it was a sharp increase in difficulty, I enjoyed having to go back to the drawing board and completely rethink how I build a machine. But on the bright side, without the freezing, my 38 special works here. So my run of all zones with one 12-block machine can continue. Before I move on to Zone 42, I have a couple tricks to show here. With some experimentation, I found that springs and winches are unaffected by the relic, so they can be used to add weight. I'm using pre-update footage so you can see the freezing effect, but this method still works at the time of this video. Broken fragments of rocks can also add weight near the relic. The next new zone is called Consumed King. Inside the dragon's skull, a dead king is frozen, holding on to a glowing staff that's piercing the dragon's head. The goal here is to break the king's body loose from the staff and move it to the insignia. I love the aesthetic elements of this zone. They invite you to imagine what bizarre backstory might have led to this wondrous scene. With that, the 38 Special has completed all 42 current zones. Of course, one of my videos wouldn't be complete without at least one ridiculously long and grueling zone completion. So, I'm going for a 3-block attempt with the Peppermill. The best thing to come from the freezing mechanic of Relict Frost was that it forced me to work with parts I don't usually use. As I was working on a machine to beat the 2 new zones in record time, I ended up with a stronger machine than I expected. I saw the potential for a machine you guys would really enjoy, so I kept refining it until it was as good as I could make it. This took a long time because I was testing and troubleshooting parts and systems I'd never used before. But finally, after weeks of development and procrastination, I believe I have a creation worthy of the name of my most popular machine. Without further ado, I proudly introduce the Brown Recluse Mark II. This machine was originally designed for the new zones, so I'll start here. Like the original Brown Recluse, the Brown Recluse Mark II is a powerful and agile wall climber. By the way, this is Maxim 12's remake of the old Sandbox. I'll link this, and all other maps I use, in the description. While the original Brown Recluse is as light as possible to make the best use of its downforce, the power of the rotors allows the new version to include more features. One feature is that the wheels are layered on cogs for smoother handling and a boost in speed. Since the cogs are immune to enemy weapons, the Brown Recluse Mark II remains drivable even through the most brutal attacks. The Brown Recluse Mark II also features a grabber arm for added versatility. I'll get to the most exciting new feature in a moment, but first, I'd like to take on a zone with demolition. One way the Brown Recluse Mark II doesn't quite live up to the original is that it isn't as durable in collisions, so you'll want to be careful when ramming walls and breakable objects. Or better yet, you can smash things by swinging the grabber arm like a hammer. To make destruction easier, you could also put a drill in place of the grabber. If you've seen the original Brown Recluse, you might remember its limited aerobatic ability. It could fly upward from upside down, and lean forward or back by spinning its wheels. That brings me to the Brown Recluse Mark II's most exciting innovation, full flight capability. The easiest way to fly it is to gain altitude and airspeed while going straight, and turn off the rotors to glide around turns. Without the rotor's thrust, it handles like an unpowered glider. But once you get used to the way it responds, you can use the rotors to add power to your turns. By the way, this map is The Valley of Kings by Sade, and it's a great track for testing your aircraft. Later in this run I'm being more cautious. Note how, as I turn through here, I'm careful about when I turn the rotors back on. I make sure the machine is upright, and maybe slightly tilted the way I want to go, before I hit the rotors. This helps to make sure I don't get abruptly pulled off course. That's a respectable 53-second run. But it wouldn't be complete without a solid 4-point landing. I'll tackle another Sade challenge for my finale, but first I want to visit a couple more zones. Since the Brown Recluse Mark II is my first helicopter, I have to take it to the zone with other helicopters. I don't have much to say about this zone, except I will point out that 2 of the freighters used to carry cages containing yaks. Having wooden cages suspended below made it easier to set the freighters on fire, so maybe that's why the developers got rid of them. Or maybe the animal rights people complained, who knows? You might have to add a bomb or a water cannon for some zones, but it's possible to beat any of the 42 current zones with this one machine. It can even fly well with the added weight of cannons, in case you want to add more weapons. Now for the grand finale, Sade's Dubai Search and Rescue. The goal is to pick up 5 supplies and to rescue Captain Walker. Each supply requires you to hover within a given space for 2 seconds, and you have to land on a small area twice to pick up and drop off Captain Walker. So this mission is great for testing helicopters. You can make this mission a lot easier by landing near each pickup, driving over to it, and descending through the checkpoint. But I feel like that goes against the intent of the challenge. So instead, I'll fly through all 5 pickups. Conceptually, I enjoy the novelty of going on a rescue mission because of the way it contrasts to the usual destructive besieging. I also appreciate the work Sade put into the ambiance here. It effectively creates the look of chaos and ruin, yet it's still low enough poly to avoid lag. Seeing a car fly like a helicopter might look a bit strange to you, but since it's 2018, I think it's about time we got flying cars. To get your flying car, follow the Steam Workshop link below. I'll also link to the original Brown Recluse, in case you haven't tried it yet. This place is awfully quiet. I wonder if there's a good song for flying a helicopter in a war zone. Fortunate Son by CCR seems popular in the movies. I guess I'll go with that.
You know, there's lots of things you expect in war. Carnage, the sleepless nights. But what they don't prepare you for is the incessant use of Fortunate Son.
Sorry, Quagmire, I forgot. I should probably stick with royalty-free music anyway. So that's the Brown Recluse Mark II. Please take it for a spin at the Steam Workshop link below.